Hello and welcome to a gorgeous sunny day down at the allotment. I'm here for the day. I've got a lot of exciting jobs to do. Just want to show you a few things that are looking really good. So firstly, my foxgloves. I mean, they are looking absolutely stunning. They look so good. I'm so pleased with them. They're taller than me. They're actually taller than me. So this one here, this white one, it's actually taller than me. It's so gorgeous. I'm so pleased with them. So this whole row now is just looking fantastic. I'm so pleased with them. So they're looking really good. I've got my first earlies here, which to be honest, they need a bit of earthing up, but they look absolutely fantastic as well. The tomatoes that I planted last week are all looking really good. They've put on loads of growth actually. They're looking fantastic. So they're looking really good. And my chilies have put on a lot of growth as well. And they've all got heaps of flowers on them. So it's always nice to see what's going well when you first get down to the plot, especially when there's probably a lot of things not going so well. So I always like to start on a high. I'm just going to check my horseradish. It's actually putting on a bit of growth. So it is putting on some growth since it was eaten by something. So that's really encouraging. I'm pleased about that. So I've put netting over my asparagus now, so it's completely covered. Both of the asparagus beds are completely covered by this netting now. In the new asparagus bed, there's not really much growth. There's no signs of life from any of the crowns that were dug up and eaten. In my old asparagus bed, the asparagus here is looking really good. I don't know if you can see that through the netting, but that's looking absolutely fine. There was some signs of life last week of one here. That's not there anymore, so I think if that was probably eaten again, I'm assuming. This one's looking absolutely fine. So it's a bit hit and miss, but obviously we're at the beginning of the season, so there's lots of time for them to put on lots of growth. I think I just need to give them a bit of a chance. So as you can see, my trolley is completely full today. I want to do a nematodes application. I want to turn my compost bays into a raspberry area. I want to plant some of my beans and some of my courgettes as well. So I've got quite a lot to do today. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to give everything a good water because it really needs it. I'm going to go around and just weed inside the beds that really need it. I'm looking at my mini polytunnel and the weeds are starting to take over a bit again, so I just want to give that a good clear out of weeds. And then the first thing I'm going to do is empty out this compost area, and this is going to be filled with raspberries. Now my thinking is that the raspberries will quite happily grow here. I mean, that is full sun at the back of the plot. Be a better use of space, as I don't really use them. I just use them as a bit of a dumping ground, so I want to stop doing that. So I'm going to take all of this rubbish out, plant the raspberries in there. They can grow nicely. When they start to have raspberries on them, I can then easily cover that with a net. So I'm sort of thinking this area can be better used, and I'm going to try raspberries. So everything in the polytunnels, the mini polytunnel and the big polytunnel, have now been watered. It's had a really good weed, so they're now off to a good start. I've now got so much in my trolley to plant. I think I'm going to do that first because it's actually getting quite hot, and I think the sooner I get them in the ground, the better for them. So I've actually got a cucumber to put into the polytunnel, so I think I'm going to do that first. Okay, so the cucumber I'm going to be planting is this one, Crystal Lemon. I got this from a garden centre. So this is, I think this is the only cucumber I've bought, but I'm excited to grow something different. So I'm going to plant that along the back of the polytunnel, and I'm going to use string and connect it to the top here so it can grow up it. Cucumbers in. Next job, Greek gigantes. So this is where I'm going to put my Greek gigantes, along here. This bed at the moment has got shallots and garlic in it, so they're just going to be planted right along the base there, and then they can grow up the arch. Okay, so that is my Greek gigantes planted right along this line here. So this one's doing really, really well. It is absolutely huge already, so I'm really, really pleased about that. Okay, so next thing is the courgettes. I think I'm going to put them in this bed right here. So this is where my parsnips were last year. It gets a lot of sun, and I think that bed will be enough for them. So I'm going to get them planted now. So I've got 6 courgettes in here. I've got 2 green bush. I've got 2 courgettes that are from Saved Seed, which were just the normal green type. I've got a summer ball here, and then I've got a Jenna up there. So the reason I wanted to get these planted today is because this one's actually got a courgette on it. As you can see, they need a water, so I'm going to do that. So I'm going to give them a bit of a water, and then I'm going to get my beans planted. So I've got a lot of dwarf beans. I'm going to plant them in this one at the end here. So the dwarf beans are going to go in this one. All the rest of my climbing beans are going to go the other side of the archway when I get round to planting them, which will probably be next week. I've just got some cosmos, some nasturtiums and some marigolds I'm going to dot around as well. So that's my sort of plan for planting after I've watered these courgettes. Okay, so I've got some Ferrari bush beans, and I'm going to now plant them in this bed right here that I've just given a little bit of a weed. I gave it a mulch of just some sawdust and hay that was sort of the stuff that's with the manure that gets delivered. And it's actually really suppressing the weeds, and it's keeping the moisture in. So I think I'm going to keep that there. There's just probably less than an inch, maybe half an inch or so of that. So I think I'm going to leave it and just plant these straight into it. So that is now my Ferrari bush beans planted. Okay, so I've got a few more bush beans to plant. I'm not sure where to plant them. I think I might actually put them in front of the peas where the foxgloves are. I think I'm going to put them in there actually. So that'll be another little lot of bush beans, and then I've just got my marigolds, cosmos and nasturtiums to plant, and then I can get on the fun stuff of clearing out those compost bays. Okay, so all my bush beans are now planted in there with the peas. So I've now got 2 full beds full of dwarf beans. So as you know, we love eating beans, so that's music to my ears. The flowers I've now got to plant, I'm going to get them planted now. They're actually starting to wilt where it's so hot. It's starting to make me think about the nematodes because the sun's not going in, and it was forecast to be a bit overcast today, which is why I thought it'd be a good idea, but it is really hot and the sun's not going in, so I might not actually do that today. We'll see by the time I go if it starts to cloud over a bit. So I'm going to get those marigolds planted with the other bits and pieces, and then I'm going to get onto that big job. Okay, so I've planted a few little bits here and there. Everything's looking really good. It is getting so hot and sunny. So I'm now going to clear out these bays. So everything in these bays is going to be taken out, and then I'm going to plant some raspberries in there. Okay, so that first bay is clear, and actually where it was sort of like a compost bay, it has got really good quality soil in there, so I'm going to plant straight into that. I just now need to empty this one. Okay, I've now got 2 empty compost bays. That's going to be my new raspberry area. So I have got my bare root raspberries, and I am going to put 5 of them in each bay. And I actually think this is going to be such a good way of growing them, because as they grow and you want to protect them from everything that eats them here, I can just put netting straight over that structure. I think this is making better use of the space, because I've now got the 3 Daleks that I can use for composting. And as you can see, these have just literally been a dumping ground. I've now got a big pile for the tip, and I've now got some compost bins that need to be sorted, but this is the job for today. I need to get these planted. That is actually my question of the day. What is something that you have repurposed for something else and it's worked? Okay, so that's all done, and now I've got my raspberries planted. So I've got 10 raspberry canes in here. Otherwise this would have just, I feel, been wasted space. I've just looked at the forecast and the sun is apparently going to go in. I never thought I'd cross my fingers for the sun going in, but I do want to do my nematodes. So I've just filled my feeder with the nematode solution, and I am now just going to whiz around the plot and give it a quick going over with this. I have already given a nematode treatment at the beginning of the year, well, maybe about end of March time. So this is my second application. Hopefully that will keep the plot going for the whole season. So I've had an absolutely fantastic day. I've got so much done today. I'm really, really pleased. I'm going to go home now and enjoy my lunch and a nice cold drink in the garden. Thank you so much for watching today, and I'll see you again soon.